we are live now?
We're letting it build, Chad.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
But we're live.
I mean, we're
we're
the
alive,
voices are live.
But are we live?
This is going to be a terrible show.
Terrible. I'm drinking coffee out of styrofoam, surrounded by $7,000 worth of Yeti. No, $35,000.
$35,000 Yeti.
Because I left it in the truck.
That's a lot of Yeti. So we're streaming live on kayakbassfishing.com. I mean, on Kayak Bass Fishing on Facebook.
Yes.
And on Chat Over Fishing on YouTube.
Welcome, because this is the first time we've done the live tournament stuff on the YouTube channel.
Where we've pushed to both. It's really the first time that we've been able to stream to both at the same time. I think we do this the right way. Let's welcome these folks in. Let me bring this up here, hide this on out of here.
Man, these boys are catching some fish.
What's going on, guys? Welcome into the weigh-in. I'm your host, Scott Butcher. We are presented to you guys by Fish USA. You guys all know the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. KBF himself. One hand McGee here, Chad Hoover. What's up, buddy? How are you?
It's kind of like like 1.5 because I do have 3 fingers.
I saw you sitting on the deck on the dock today, just totally distraught about not fishing.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about that later. But, dude. October, Lake Guntersville, KBF NC, Challenge Series Championship, Trail Series Championship. We're going to realistically find out who the 10 are.
A lot of hard work.
We're going to crown an Angler of the Year.
We got the Top Team Challenge Cup.
Team Cup.
The Top Team Challenge Cup. We're going to find out who's going to Kissimmee this year for the 10.
There's so much to talk about.
Did you say Angler of the Year?
Angler of the Year.
It's that one over there.
This one.
Yeah. No. It's this one over here.
It's this one. We're backwards.
We're crowning Angler of the Year. We're getting our flow down here, guys.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, guys.
Did you realize there was a last-minute leaderboard change on the
challenge championship? We saw that. We talked about that.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. We pre-gamed a little bit, but I wasn't paying attention.
It happens. It happens. Guys, a lot to break down. We're gonna sit here and kind of weigh in on what's happened here on Lake Guntersville today. I think a lot of serious numbers. Let me go through some of the math with you guys real quick. All right. There's a little over 300 anglers came into this event, and 172 caught a limit, which is, I mean,
in the national championship.
In the national championship, correct.
Yeah, there's over 430 unique anglers.
Correct. In the national championship is what I was referring to right now. But, I mean, our top 2 guys are within half an inch of one another, and they battled it all day long. And it looks like we're going to have both those guys come sit in right here and have a conversation with us. But talk to us a little bit about the Challenge Series, Chad, and kind of a lot of folks fishing live events, especially in the COVID year that has been 2020, right?
Yep.
The Challenge Series has really given a lot of opportunity for guys to fish while social distancing and not have to have that kind of contact, you know what I mean? And so I think that's been something that we dig into that a little bit. What's
the Challenge Series is honestly where KBF started. When we first started, the whole catch, photo, release thing was very undefined, to be transparent. I didn't know if we were going to be able to get permits for fishing kayaks back when we started in 2009 with the online stuff. And so we called them challenges. That way they weren't considered tournaments. And that way we didn't get into, crazy restrictions. But that kind of was the catalyst for everything that KBF is today, is the online challenge series. That led to a bunch of people basically saying, dude, we got to do this live. So we had our first event 2012 in Sandy Cooper, South Carolina, a couple of open years. And then 2016, we had the first national championship on Kentucky Lake. We went back to back on Kentucky Lake before going to Louisiana last year. And the reason I'm talking about the national championship, even though Scott asked me about the Challenge Series championship, is the Challenge Series is, for the first time in 2019, the winner of the national championship actually qualified through the Challenge Series, didn't qualify through the trail or any live events. And so when Mike Kelsey won the national championship last year, it's kind of like the equivalent of an angler winning the Bassmaster Classic by coming through the Bass Nation Series, or winning
or coming to the Open,
winning the FLW Cup by coming through, the whatever they call them now, because FLW Major League Fishing has changed everything. But back when they were BFLs, and so that was really exciting because that's what is the foundation for kayak bass fishing. It's a great way to fish. They're 21 days long. You can fish your water, your time. We're going to be making some changes for next year, by the way. So for you guys that have been complaining about some of the waters that are eligible for the Challenge Series, pay attention to some of the stuff that we're going to put out after this event about some changes that are coming for 2021. But anyway, the challenge series is that learn how to fish in a kayak fishing tournament, learn how to make those easy mistakes like facing the fish wrong or not having your identifier or the wrong measuring board or whatever, so that you don't make that same mistake on a stage like this where it could cost you, tens of thousands of dollars or more.
Tens of thousands of dollars. All right, guys. 2 things I want you guys to do before we get rolling this thing. If you're new to the weigh-in, do this for me. Go in and then smash that share button. Let everybody know we're here for the next hour, kind of weighing in and breaking down these waters, breaking down the drama that's happening here on Lake Guntersville with all 3 of the events. And then secondly,
good drama though.
Go in the comment section right now and let us know where you're watching from, guys. If you got thoughts, questions, concerns, drop them in. We can see your comments right here on screen. We'll throw them up on screen. We'll talk about them. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. But we're going to have some of these anglers come in and have a seat right here next to me and weigh in on what's going on. Lake Guntersville, Chad, I mean, this body of water is a legendary body of water. I mean, guys from Rick Clunn, to Jamie Hartman, to Swindle, Jordan Lee.
Literally, there's like 2 Bassmaster Classic champions that call this home. That moved here after they won the Classic.
100%.
Chris Lane and Randy Howell both moved to Guntersville. You got Duckett's Empire that's here.
100%.
Honestly, there's a ton of pros that moved here to call this lake home.
But I bring that up because I feel like this body of water is known for that. But let's be honest, this body of water for the last 6 days, 10 days, really. I mean, I know it gets beat up year round, but it's really been hammered hard for the last 7 or 8 days with the elites coming in.
Elite Series last weekend.
They had practice and then their
simultaneously event, with a Spro
tournament, which brings in a ton of anglers.
Yeah.
The Spro event is a phenomenal event. They brought in a whole bunch of anglers. And then literally 48 hours after that, I mean, we dive into our KBF NC Challenge Series and Trail Series championships. This water's been beat up. Yeah. Seeing the numbers stacked up today, I know that you're an avid angler. I know it's killing you to get on the water today, but
killing me to not get on the water.
Exactly, killing you to not be on the water today. How was it? I mean, are the numbers fluid with what you expected?
Yeah, I expected low to mid 90s to be the day 1 and day 2. I expect that some of these guys that are in that top 10, top 15, or top 20 are actually saving their better spots for day 3. On a 3-day tournament, you can't win it on day 1 and you can't win it on day 2, but you can definitely lose it. So the smart play is to stay in the game for day 1 and day 2 to make that cut, because you have to make the cut to win the tournament. And then I think a lot of guys strategically are going to save their better fish for day 3, where they're not competing with 300 people, they're competing with 100, where they've kind of let their pattern come to them a little bit. And I'm just making the guess, and actually I'm making the declaration that the person that wins this event is going to have the best day that they have of the 3 on Friday, on day 3, after they make the cut.
Oh.
I think that's just when it's going to come down to is that person that's got those fish that are replenishing, or they came down here and they pre-fished and they've got 1, 2, or 3 patterns that are working for them, or places that they can go. Because again, one thing that we did this year as a format change is knowing that in October, for one, we had COVID, so we knew a lot of events were going to stack up in October.
Exactly.
October on Guntersville is when the frog bite heats up historically, so we kind of knew that we're going to be competing with boat tournaments. So we moved the tournament to the middle of the week. So literally, we start on
Wednesday today.
Day 2's on Thursday, and really Friday's kind of a weekend day, but Friday is the only day that the guys that are in the 100 are really competing with that weekend boat traffic, and we did that on purpose. And then at the same time, we knew COVID restrictions are going to be kind of crazy, so it let people have the weekend to either stay and relax if they brought their family, or to have 2 days to get back home. And we've got guys here from 40 plus states.
40 plus states. I've at a boat ramp this morning interviewed a guy that had drove 70 years old, drove 5 days from California to get here, and was lit up like a little kid on Christmas at the dock this morning. An hour before launch, boat fully rigged out. He was ready to go, and you know what he told us this morning when we were there? He said, "You know what?" He goes, "The drive felt like it took me 10 hours because he was so excited." He drove for 5 days at 70 years old to get here.
And listen, I got to give the hardcore shout out of the event to a longtime friend of mine, and the guy that is in the defending spot as the captain of the Top Team Challenge Cup winner for last year. That's Mr. Marty Hughes. God bless his heart. That dude had a stroke
last week. Is he talking about that?
Had a stroke last week. Side of his glasses taped up, and his equilibrium's off, and he is here fishing in this event because he's that big of a diehard. Now, I'm not sure that some people are going to agree that that's the smartest thing to do, but I appreciate and I applaud the tenacity. He's actually one of our older competitors. Marty, that dude is a beast. He's one of the OGs of kayak fishing, and it just shows the kind of dedication that the anglers that fish in this series, bring to the game. So
no, well, we talked about family coming in and stuff like that, and I mean the destination we're at here. I mean the Guntersville State Park. I mean we're in a ballroom here that I wish you guys could see. I mean when we talk about a ballroom,
well, they can see it if they go watch yesterday's video.
That's
true. Did a little tour.
That's true.
Yeah,
you can
on YouTube. The folks that are watching YouTube, and if you're watching it on Facebook, go check out my YouTube channel, Chad Hoover Fishing.
Phenomenal opportunity. You guys have really gone above and beyond to lay everything out. You knew that it was going to kind of be a little bit of a different year. It had to be with everything that kind of changed. But I tell you what, you guys have really stepped up. Everything was great. Everything flowed all day yesterday, super seamlessly, super smooth. I know a lot of anglers. We're just excited to kind of see each other. There was a lot of elbow pounding, a lot of fist bumps. A lot of guys, excited to see each other. Everybody was masked up and
a lot of masks.
Oh yeah, everybody had masks on.
And I got to be honest with you, with the exception of Jackson, who looks kind of like a J. Crew model. Most of us could probably benefit from wearing a mask.
No.
And,
Rundle looks so much better with a mask on.
The old thing where people go, hey, man, you want a breath mint? And you're like, no. And they go, no, for real. Do you want a breath mint? When we offer some of you guys masks, it's not optional, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I kid. It's not optional at all. We've obviously been cohabitated doing this setup and all that kind of stuff. We're both, tested negative prior to the event and all that good stuff. But when we're in and around other anglers,
absolutely.
And when you guys see these, when you see the competitors come jump in the seat, they're going to be masked up. I'm going to step out of the frame. It sucked, man. I just got to be honest with you. COVID hit yesterday for me for the first time for real. When the first time in the history of the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship, I didn't have the honor of standing in front of a group of people where the room was packed and it was buzzing, and then do the whole raise my hands and get everybody to go nuts. And we had 5 camera angles.
It's different.
It's eerie.
It is. It's hitting different. But yesterday at the check-in, and I talked about this on my Instagram stories last night, the energy in the air, and I'm going to talk about this with Jackson and some of the other guys who are coming up on stage here in just a minute, but the energy was still in the air. Like, in all honesty, it's the first event I've been to all year where, and we talked about this earlier in the week, like it feels like Kayakville, right? Like you're driving through town and you see there's a kayak in the water over there. There's one over there. There's 2 at the gas station. There's one at Walmart.
What I was going to say is, like,
I love that
whole feeling of kind of being on the low. Last night after I left here, doing the virtual captain's meet with the lieutenant governor of the state of Alabama, who came in to literally present to an empty room because we live streamed it. That feeling went away this morning when I started driving around, and every boat ramp had 15 or 20 kayak anglers at it. Every time I popped the drone up, I didn't have to look for kayak anglers. I just had to fly in a direction and I'd find one.
100%.
It was unreal how many guys are out here. It was unreal how dedicated this community is, and folks coming from all over the country. Again, over 40 states represented in these 3 events. Guys flew in from California. People drove from all over the country. Again, I don't want to dime some people out in case their state makes you, like quarantine when you go back home from Alabama.
We've missed a bunch of folks.
We missed a lot of
Duke from Catch couldn't come down.
Jason Gardner,
I mean,
who's
Gardner,
one of the regional coordinators, couldn't make it.
It's like it's still affected. Like, we're still missing some family, but we're together and we're making the best of the best situation as we can. And we've had so many of the support from those guys. We've had those guys call and check in, and I was on the phone this morning with Duke. You know what I mean?
And man, I got to be honest with you. It was crazy how many people were texting me, man, thanks for still having this. Your team did a great job. And
folks are ready to get out, man.
It's not us, man. We wouldn't be doing something if there wasn't the demand for it and there wasn't the outcry for it. And I think we're all just kind of fed up to a certain extent with not being normal and trying to get back as much of normal as we can. And one thing that I'll tell you that sucks for me this week is that, and this is my life in general, I work a lot. You know what I mean? It looks like from the outside looking in, you've got a cush job when you fish out of a kayak for a living, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work. But for me, all of that disappears. The minute that I sit down on my kayak and I zip my PFD up and I push off, it's like a whole different thing. It's like a magic carpet ride. I've been doing this now for 23 kid. And I don't get to do that this week. I'm going to try to get out there and maybe gimp around a little bit tomorrow with the Torpedo and see if I can paddle. But, you know, I'm going to wait for these guys to leave, and I'm going to probably hang out Saturday and Sunday and try to do a little one-armed fishing.
In the hurricane?
Sure. Hey, what else can 2020 throw at us? You know what I'm saying?
Don't throw that challenge out there. I don't want to be a part of that.
But listen, here's the thing, Scott. We've been yakking. Why don't we get one of these guys over here that are here from the challenge series, get their perspective on it,
Let's talk about it.
Get their feedback, let's hear it from their perspective.
Well, not only that, but we have a local. I mean, sitting right here with us. I'm gonna see if we can get him up here, and I'm getting my pages uploaded now because I'm actually gonna bring up the challenge series here, and talk about that a little bit because I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like the challenge series doesn't necessarily get the love that it kind of deserves, right? Because it feels like it's all online. But
you still got to come win it in person.
100%, and that's what Pat's here doing right now.
Right,
Pat, come on, have a conversation. See you in a little while. I appreciate it. Now, guys, Pat's a local from right here in Alabama, and so I really am kind of interested in picking your brain on how this water is kind of doing and what's breaking down. And Pat, I can't even begin to break down your first name or your last name. I'm gonna let you do that for us.
Vegetees.
Vegetees.
Yes, sir.
Pat Vegetees. Well, Pat, man, you are stepping in and swinging for the fences here, man. Now you are 30 minutes or so roughly out of Lake Guntersville.
Yep.
So this is home water for you.
Yep.
Now, how did you get your? I mean, where did this start? Take me back.
I was a bass boat fisherman for 20 years and sold my bass boat about a year ago, and bought a kayak in July. Started fishing challenges in August and won the state challenge in August.
Your first month in Alabama's got some hammers in it. I mean, there are some sticks that fish some little plastic boats here.
And fished September, placed second, and lost by half inch.
Oh, real talk. That hurt. That stung a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, because it was actually had a better month than I did the month before. But it was fun, and like I said, and I'm fishing.
There's some real competition.
There's absolutely some real competition.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
So, but kind of got the ball rolling, and then I mean, you knew we were coming to Guntersville. You knew we were gonna have an opportunity to come. I mean, what was your prep like? What was your thought process on coming to Guntersville to compete in the Challenge Series Championship live?
Well, it was. I didn't even know I was going to get to come until I won in August.
Correct.
To qualify,
Yeah.
And then I was pretty excited because I thought that it was going to be pretty close to what I'm doing right now, fishing, and I was wrong. It's not.
So I want to talk about that. So breaking down the water. I mean, as a local, as a guy who you're familiar with the weather conditions, with the temperature, barometric pressure, like where your home for you is pretty much what it is here year round. I mean, how are conditions compared to what you expected?
It's tougher. There's no doubt. Like I said, I think this little warm up we've had has actually helped me.
Okay.
I would like to have a little more wind.
Okay.
But because the windy days really help me. But because the last 2 weeks it has been extremely tough for me. And this, like I said, this morning I caught 4 fish by 8 o'clock. Didn't catch another fish, and then the last hour I caught 6. I caught my 2 big fish for the last 15 minutes.
As a local, do you feel like all the pressure that this body of water, we talked about earlier in the show, but do you feel like all the pressure that this lake has seen over the last 7 days?
Man.
Do you think that's made an impact?
No doubt. There's
Okay.
no doubt. Because like I said, at least where I'm fishing, because a lot of the elite pros were fishing there because I saw them last weekend. And it gets hammered. And one thing I think it's really helped for this tournament is having it during the week.
Well,
it's been great to have that.
And I think that was a big part when Chad and the team at KBF decided to kind of do this, and they knew they were going to have to do this way. I think that was their kind of plan, was like, look, like let's give these guys an opportunity to not be completely crowded. Because let's be honest, I mean, this place has got, I don't even know how many boat ramps. That's a good trivia question. Guys, if you know in the comment section how many public boat ramps touch Lake Guntersville. Amanda, can you find that out? See if you can Google that. How many public boat ramps are on Lake Guntersville? That's a good trivia question. Drop your guesses in the comments down below. Now, Pat, you have got some pretty stacked competition. One of which is the kid Jackson, who we're gonna have a conversation with later, who's currently leading the Challenge Series day 1. But I mean, you got 2 main hammers in Brundle and Matt, and then Alex Cox out of the West Coast, out of California, sitting above you right now. What is your strategy for day 2? Are you going to do more of what you've done today?
I'm doing exactly what I'm doing today.
Exactly what you've done today. No shifts.
No shifts.
You going to tell us at all about what you've done today, or are you going to hold on to it?
I had a really good early bite because we had some fog.
Yes, sir. A lot of fog rolled in.
And it was great. And it's the first time I caught fish on top water in a month.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Say that statement again.
It's been a month since I've caught fish on top water.
Oh.
And I caught it on top water early. And this afternoon, like I said, when it warmed up, I went back to the same place I caught them this morning and the last hour and caught the good fish and caught them on the chatterbait.
Absolutely incredible. I love, everybody knows I love the chatterbait bite. I think that's good. Pat, I mean, what does winning this thing do for you? I mean, are you here for that or are you here for the good time? Let's be honest.
I'm actually here for the good time.
Here for the good time.
Because, I'm new to all this, man.
Understand?
This is all new to me.
But you've been an angler, your whole life.
Yeah, and fish tournaments my whole life.
How's this different?
When you fish in a kayak, you just fish so much harder and more thorough than you do in a bass boat. Because you can just get up and run anywhere you want to run in a bass boat. In a kayak, you're there and man, and there's no doubt that's why I keep fishing.
Do you think it's changed the way you fish?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just
guys, I can't smack the camera, but are you hearing this? Are you listening at home to the folks that are sitting on the couch that are watching these events, friends of family that are watching and want to know why we all get so jacked up and so emotionally connected to this sport? Listen to what Pat is telling you guys right here. This is a man who's been an angler his whole life, and he's telling you it's something different about doing it from these little plastic boats, right?
Yes, no doubt.
Absolutely incredible, Pat. Well, man, now do you have a plan to start? You're gonna start doing some live events with us next year?
I hope so.
That's the plan, huh?
I hope so. Mm-hmm.
Okay, man. Well, dude, an opportunity to give any kind of shout outs to any family, sponsors, anything like that? Potential sponsors, man. I mean, you're making a name for yourself now,
Pat. 3 sponsors, me, myself, and I. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey, that's some good sponsors there, right there, right?
It is.
All right.
So, but it's awesome. Like I said, I really enjoyed this. It's just as long as I fished in bass boats and on Guntersville Lake, my personal best has been caught out of a kayak, and it was caught in August.
Pat, I got chill bumps, bro. Absolutely, awesome. I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. Pat, man, I cannot wait. We're gonna talk a little bit later on. I'm gonna get a number from you, and we're gonna try to see if we can get some cameras around you tomorrow. If you're comfortable, we may wait till it heats up a little bit, let you get your morning bite done. Sure. But we'll talk a little bit off camera later on. Pat, man, congratulations, dude. Thanks so much, and I feel like you stay on this track, man. That me, myself, and I sponsor might change.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it, guys. I'm telling you, if that doesn't give you chill bumps listening to that man talk about what it's like out of the sport, that's a man who's that's an angler who's fished his whole life.
All right,
plugged into Lake Guntersville, is PB out of a kayak, bro.
But I got to call BS on something real quick.
Oh goodness, here we go.
And he's sitting over here listening.
Here
to
we
me,
go.
So I'm not talking behind the man's back, but he said that he finished the August challenge and he won it. Then he finished the September challenge and ended up second by 1/4 of an inch. And he talked about how that bothered him. And then you ask him, was he here for the fishing or for the good time? And he said, oh, I'm just here for the good time. I think that's the default answer that guys like to give. That guy's here to win.
He's a
what's
competitor.
Crazy is all these guys are competitors. But speaking of competitors, Scott, before we got on the air, you had this big plan. And unfortunately, I'm unaudible for you. Okay.
No, let's do this, bro.
It's kind of what I'm known for is we got a young man that's sitting over here that's 17 years old, that's a senior in high school. And Scott wanted to kind of build this up backwards and do it like kind of guys in the lower positions and work their way up and save the best for last.
Jackson's here, baby.
Jackson's here.
Jackson's here. Let's do this.
17 years old, senior in high school, and he's leading 2 of the 3 events. Now, I can tell you right now that somebody is going to send this kid a Christmas card if he ends up winning those 2 events and he holds on to win and isn't in the other championship, the Trail Series championship, because he didn't qualify for that event and leaves that money on the table. Somebody's going to send him a Christmas card. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to jump out of here. We're going to bring in Jackson Orr, one of the coolest kids, one of the best human beings you're ever going to meet, and an unbelievable angler at the same time. Dude, 17 years old, senior in high school, and leading 2 out of the 3 biggest kayak fishing tournaments in the country. So Jackson, come on in here, dude.
Jackson, absolute hammer, guys. On the water now. This is one of my favorite human beings. Jackson, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
How are
how's
you,
it going?
man?
Good.
Doing well, dude. Man, doing well. Not as well as you're doing right now. You've you know, on the trail on the challenge series and the NC side. I mean, you were in a two-way battle all day long with Corey Dreyer, who is a guy that a lot like me. I mean, when you were 14, 13, and you were kind of watching Corey kind of do these things, competing at this level and doing what you're doing, you're killing it on all fronts. Right?
Corey Dreyer has the highest average finish.
Correct.
Over the career of a kayak
Correct.
of any kayak angler.
100%.
That's insane.
100%. But you what I love about you is how you lead heart first in almost everything that you do. I want to take a minute and get a little real. You know how we like to have these conversations. We've had several interviews and lots of great conversations off the water. But I mean, you're also just coming off of the heels of your own charity event that you put together every single year. Talk to me real quickly about that before we dive into fishing.
Yeah, it was awesome. We had there was 24 sponsors we got for the event, and we had 267 people that signed up, and we raised $7,000 for charity.
Absolutely incredible, man. $7,000.
Yes.
And this was year 3 for you? 2.
This was year 3.
Year three for the event, man. Correct. And it's a give us the name of it.
Jackson Orr's third annual catch and release charity tournament.
And you just had that done. It'll be something that you do again next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you've really dove into this pretty heavy. You've dove into this heavy to the point to where I mean, this has kind of become lifestyle for you. I mean, you know, your dad still travels with you and does a good bit, but I mean, you're 17 now. You're kind of starting to spread the wings a little bit. I mean, what do you think has changed in this COVID year for you, if anything? Because you've been steadily climbing the ranks, but it seems like this year, man, you've just taken a step. I mean, a big step, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very difficult for sure with school and COVID going on. It makes things a lot less easier, but I have gotten out and gone fishing a lot and been working on techniques that I haven't been familiar with or I'm not confident in, and I've just been trying to work on my mental game and also just my physical game in fishing.
Dude, all right. Now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty, Jackson. Okay, and now you answer what you're willing to answer, but I want to talk. I want to talk fishing. I want to talk fishing today. I want to talk Lake Guntersville because something I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people don't know, and you're gonna find out right now. Let's be honest. You only fished today for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you only fished today for about 3 hours. You put about 35 fish in the boat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you left.
I did not leave.
I mean, but I mean, you left off of the fish.
Yeah.
You put the St. Croix down and just kind of held your space.
Yeah, I fished for about 2.5 hours in the morning, and then around it was like half an hour before lines out, I casted like 5 times, 20 and a quarter, and I was just done. I just sat down.
The drone over you, it looked like you were just paddling around.
Yeah, because he was just paddling around. Yeah, pedaling around. Yeah, I mean, you put the Hobie to work. I mean, you just do. And I tell you what, it was super impressive to see. Here's my thing, guys. You've all done it. If you get on that bite, this is where I can't compete, right? I'm not a tournament angler. I'm a fan because there's no way I can set the rod down, bro. I know you put the St. Croix in the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
Like that. That's hard though, right?
It was so hard. I saw fish busting everywhere, and like I was on the phone with my dad the whole entire day, and I was on the phone with him just talking to him. Like I was bored. Like I was like
I caught 35 fish today. I'm leading 2 national tournaments. And he's like, I was bored. Like he's leading 2 national tournaments right now.
It was awesome. I mean, I did make a couple casts in there when I was just taking a break, and each time there'd be a fish.
Now, at 17 years old, that's so much willpower. And I always we have to bring up your age because it's so just there in the face. Because there are 40-year-old men, I'm one of them, that don't have that kind of self-control. Is that a tournament strategy with this being a 3-day event that you've picked up and you've learned from? I mean, I know you got some phenomenal mentors and anglers. I know your dad's your dad's a very serious competitor. But I mean, is that something surreal you learned on the outside? Is that something you've taken in from somewhere? Like that tournament management strategy. Where are you picking that up from at 17 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I've really looked forward to this event, and I put in the time and practice. I did have 2 days of practice, but I did get on fish my first day of practice, and they were good fish. I even caught my personal best during practice time, and I knew
How big was that personal best?
it was 22 and a half inches. It wasn't too big, but I mean, it was big fish for me.
And now that was, I mean, you came up straight from fishing the Coosa because you fished the Hobie event down in the Coosa, and you didn't have the results there that you wanted to have, right?
Yeah, right.
But so you came straight up from there because it's just down river, and came straight from there with 2 days of practice.
2 days of practice, yeah.
So you leave the Coosa. Did the PB did that give you some juice to get some fire?
It did, yeah. I definitely was a little down on myself as much as I was trying to keep my head up. I was pretty down on myself. The Coosa River did not go as I hoped, but
So how did you end up doing there?
I got 47th out of 87, so not very well.
Not what you wanted to do, and I mean, but there's going to be tournaments like that,
right, yeah.
And I think really, and Chad's behind camera here, but Chad, what really impresses me on that, boss man, is that how he bounces back. You're talking 48 hours ago. You had gone to a tournament where you really wanted to do well.
Well, you gotta think about this though. That generation is built for this. Generation, what are you like? X, Z,
Y. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Literally, they let stuff just roll off their back, right? Because
do you though?
Roll and double tap, man.
But do you like let's be real. I mean, how much do you fight that? Because there are kids that are watching. There are adults that are learning from you, bro. I'm one of them. We've had this conversation. How much of that is that water off the duck's back, or how much is that of you leaning into the mentors that have helped you to kind of learn from them?
No, I have the type of personality where I really get in my head and I stress about things, and in all honesty, I'm very hard on myself. Like, I've had a very good practice for Coosa, and I was expecting good results and everything, and nothing went my way. And I'm very blessed to have so many friends in the kayak fishing community and also family that I'm able to just give a phone call or text, and they just uplift me, and I just get going again.
Let's talk strategy for a minute, because you've been impressing me since the day I started following you. But earlier this year, when COVID first hit, you jumped in on 5 Live with us, and you went into a tournament having a strategy of, this is what I'm going to do. You changed lakes in the middle of the event. You stuck to your guns. When did you start picking that up of literally laying out your strategy? In my head, I see you writing out in a composition notebook pad, which you don't even know what that is probably, no. But I see you typing on your iPad, right? Going, hey, this is my game plan. Do you make an A, B, and C?
Yeah, I do for sure. Like, my spot I fished today was actually my C spot. There were people on my B spot. I didn't fish my A spot too much, but I do try to have as many options as possible during practice, or even I love switching ramps. I mean, that's one of my favorite things.
You're a load and go guy.
That's one of my favorite things to do. So I always try to have 2 ramps right next to each other, just in case worst comes to worst.
Now,
That's making me look like a prophet real quick. So I gotta expand on it a little bit, Jackson. So you literally said you didn't fish your A spot.
He did not.
When I came up on stage, I said I think the guys that have the best strategy are saving their best spots for last. Is that what you were doing, or you just felt like your C spot was better today?
Wind was really helping me, and in my A spot there really wasn't that much wind going, and for some reason in my C spot there was wind going, and that's when I was catching them. And I feel like I just need to get through tomorrow, put up like 80 tomorrow, and then Friday I feel like that's going to be really good with that wind going.
I feel you. Guys, if you're just checking in, welcome into the weigh-in. I'm your host, Guy Butcher. We're on with Jackson Oil right now. The kid's just absolutely killing today. If you haven't done so already, go in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. Smash that share button. Get some views in here. We're going to chat a little bit more with Jackson here as things roll down. We're waiting on a couple of other guys to come in. Chad's behind camera. We're sitting at Lake Guntersville in the grand ballroom up at the Guntersville State Park, and this place is just absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. I mean, yesterday you come in, checked in, did everything, checked your boards, got everything ready to roll. When did it hit you that this is the NC?
I mean, just from seeing all the kayaks outside and pulling into the parking lot, it was insane. Like, I saw so many people that I just meet on social media and never actually get to see them in person. And I met so many people and like great anglers, like first-class kayak fishing anglers, and it hit me then. And it's surreal to even be up here.
Well, dude, I tell you what, man, the way you carry yourself, I'm a fan. We talk about it all the time. The way you carry yourself, just everything that you do, bro, on the water and off, man. I know mom and dad and sis are absolutely proud of what you're doing, man. Keep your head up, dude. I would love to get into, what bait you threw and kind of where you're at. Well, you're not giving any of that up today, right?
Probably not today.
I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow because I'm sure your plan is we'll have you right back here in the hot seat.
Shallow, deep? Are you fishing fast?
Yeah, today I was fishing
He
shallow.
fished for 2.5 hours.
I was fishing shallow, but I've got a deep spot tomorrow that I'm gonna try to hit. So we'll see what's gonna go on. But
All right, so I got a self-serving question real quick. I'm gonna cue it up for you. There's 5 pieces of major hardware right there in front of you, and there's a really big piece of hardware back there. What would it mean for you to hoist one of those 5 or 2 of those 5 tomorrow,
Friday,
and then one of those, and etch your name on that trophy? What would that mean to you, like this young in your career? You know what I'm saying? What would that mean?
Yeah, that would be incredible. Like right now, if I'm being honest, like this does not seem real. I went out there today. I went out with no expectations, coming off of a bad tournament, and I was just gonna give it my all, and that's what I did. And it just everything went the way that I wanted it to go. It didn't start off well in the morning, believe it or not, but I just had to sit down, talk to the man upstairs, and get myself together so it wasn't like the Coosa event all over again.
So let's tie into that because you've got something written on your hand that I want you to talk about. We talk about that? What's written on your hand there?
Yeah,
Jackson?
so every tournament, it started 2 years ago. I've been riding Colossians 3:23, 24 on my hand, and that's super duper special to me because I'm very hard on myself. I really am, and at the end of the day, no matter if you win or lose, place in the middle, I mean, God is always with you. He is, and he's always your reward. I have my reward, and it's just I've been very blessed to where I am today, and that's a huge part of what I do. And I would not be able to do this without him. Like when I don't put that on my hand, I don't feel ready. I just can't. Like it just doesn't go. Like I'm not mentally ready. It's
on your checklist. It's something that you're just doing it systematic now. 2 years of doing it, many more years ahead. Dude, we'll talk about this because I'll have to interview tomorrow and Friday, I hope. But I want to dig in. There's so much more to unwrap, man. I want to dig into the future, your plans, like all this stuff. But we're not going to dig into that now, man. I want you to get something to eat. I want you to get everything retied and get everything ready to rock and roll for tomorrow.
Awesome.
Dude, Jackson, I cannot be more proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
On the water and off, you're a phenomenal role model for not only for you up and coming anglers, but for older guys who are still trying to learn to fish like myself. And dude, I'm proud of you, bro, and everything that you do, man. Keep it up, bro.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
I
buddy.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Hey, before you roll, man, shout out, thank any sponsors you want to thank. Give a little bit of love to. I know mom and sister at home. I know dad's here, but I mean, I know you got some folks pulling for you, man. Give a shout out.
No, first and foremost, the man upstairs. I can't do this without him, like I said, and I really want to thank my mom, my dad, my sister, and my extended family. I'm very, very blessed to have them as people to talk to, and all my friends. I mean, I talked to so many people today that encouraged me and just kept me going, and so I'm very thankful for them. And I have so many sponsors. I have 13 sponsors that I'm insanely thankful for, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do today without them. And Tourney X for them. I mean, this format, without Tourney X, this wouldn't be possible. And I want to thank Kayak Bass Fishing and everyone here. Dude, thank you all so much.
Absolute pro. Jackson, man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, I'm telling y'all right now, if you're not following Jackson, go jump on Facebook, jump on the gram right now, guys. I'm telling you, the kid is he's absolutely phenomenal. Jackson's grandma right here is jumping in online, commenting. Like, that's the community. That's the family aspect that I love, Chad, about the sport, saying right here, so very proud of you, grandson. And there was another comment in here, too. It's like Sam Jones talks here, a great role model for all. One of you guys, Chris, I got to make the comment real quick because while his hand's a little bit sore, no one has ever said this. No one's ever said, give Chad a microphone. That's not a thing, but Chad was back there kind of tuning in. Dude, let's be honest. Like, you have to be impressed with the kid.
Listen, I've been impressed with him since he was 13.
Absolutely.
At 13 years old, I forgot who called me. Somebody called me and said, you got to check out this kid, Jackson Orr. And they were from the South. So I wanted to look up Jackson, Jackson.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find him. And I called that person back. Hey, I can't find this kid. And they said Jackson, Jaxton. So guys, if you want to look him up, it's Jaxton. ORR, or you can just go look up the leaderboards and go find him there.
It's right there.
So I went and looked this kid up and was like, holy cow, what an unbelievable ambassador for the sport. He had that scripture in his profile on social media.
He still does, I think.
Which is bold and brave.
Yep.
He has it on his jersey.
Yep.
He was already running a charity tournament. Very respectful. I talked to a lot of kids that want to make it in the industry and they're lazy. Jackson reached out to me and was talking about doing, a college fishing thing. And I said, hey, what are your goals? Whatever. Ask him to send me a letter of recommendation so I could rewrite it for him to go to college. Got it later that night. Like that's the kind of that's the kind of kid
the work ethic, man. It's incredible.
His dad's very involved. His whole family is very Christian family that literally is got a really great bond and just love what that kid represents. But at the same time, unbelievable mental poise. So when he says he was not fishing and was paddling around,
you had the drone above him.
I was droning this person who I didn't know was Jackson because I didn't know he had grown a COVID mullet, right? And so this hair was sticking out everywhere, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" Right? And
he's a man now.
But you kind of mostly associate mullets, especially in the South, with like 40 and older, right? So I see this skinny dude.
It's back, bro. It's back. You're gonna have one next year.
Dude with a mullet. And I'm thinking, who is this guy? Hovered for a full battery.
Yeah.
35 minutes of a drone battery and didn't see but one cast. The whole time I'm like, what is this guy doing? Just pedaling around? Sure enough.
We talked about it. Yeah.
That's exactly what he was doing. And so
2.5 hours he fished.
Unreal. And when he says fish were busting all around him, I'm not joking. I was sitting there saying to myself, whoever that is, I don't know what they're doing because there's fish busting everywhere.
Well, we're not going to give out specifics.
I'm not going to give out specifics,
but there was another angler right below him that is an elite angler
that didn't do as well.
That was catching fish.
You can't do as well as first.
No, exactly.
Right?
You can't do as well as first.
But
we were there watching him.
Yep.
Or y'all were there watching him. You flew over. You saw this other one. And like I said, it's one of those things that when I realized when talking with him off camera that he fished realistically in 2.5 hours today, and just decided like he just kind of held his ground, put his rods down, had that kind of self-control. It just unreal. It's unreal
in a tournament this big with this much at
this
stake,
kind of money on the table,
and you've come to the table and put up that many fish and that many inches, and the guy in second, you've basically traded within a half
back
inch
and
of
forth
each other.
all day.
To say to yourself, okay, that's enough is take some fortitude, man.
I don't have that.
I don't think I have that.
I mean, I really don't.
I've got some really good, game plan and decision-making skills from, 40 plus years of fishing. I just don't know. I was sitting there looking at the situation he was in and seeing the fish that I was seeing, knowing that there's probably an inch upgrade out there somewhere, and an inch could cost you lots of money in a series like this. We're going to find out at the end, was it a great decision or was it not? But here's the thing. He caught enough to be in first.
Absolutely.
He flat out sit here and said his game plan is to go deep tomorrow and either let his B spot rest and his A spot rest or go back to the next day.
Today was his C spot.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's going to go deep tomorrow.
Correct. He's going to go to his B spot.
To leave his other spots.
Yep.
Golly.
Yeah. So let's talk numbers. I got Tony X pulled up here.
Okay.
Let's dig through some of the math of some of this stuff right now. I mean,
let me tell the folks at home something real quick
before
you do that. Y'all do this and go to the leaderboards on Tourney X, or you can go to leaderboard.kayakbassfishing.com, and there's the leaderboard for all three events on one page. After the top 10, there's a link to the Tourney X event. So if you want to make it easier to find them all, just go into Tourney X and click on the X and look at some of these fish.
Right here,
just
guys.
click on the X.
You go in right here, guys.
Yeah.
Go over here. You go right over here.
So go to KBF Special Tournaments. Go to KBF Special Tournaments, and they're all under one thing. Click on the National Championship.
Boom, just like this, guys.
And then what you do is you literally click the drop down next to somebody's name. In this case,
we gotta go to total. I'm going over here.
You got to go to total. Click the drop down, right? It's kind of over to the right in this view.
This is a.
You've already got it open. So you click or you can just click on their name and like literally click on the X's next to their name. And then,
my internet's loading.
Yeah, so
we're getting there. We're streaming as well.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're on mobile device or if you're actually on the website and you're not streaming it like we are, you simply click the little drop down arrow on the side. I
got it right here.
Yeah.
Boom.
See the little arrow next to the number? If you click that drop down, it just opens up with all their fish, and then you just click on one of the X's there's about 1 billion people trying to check this leaderboard right now. So
That's what it seems like. Yeah,
it's kind of a little bit of an overload. But you literally just click on Jackson's biggest fish and let's take a quick look at that.
Well, let's go to Corey's real quick because Corey's fish earlier just looked like an absolute tank.
It's a heifer.
It is. It's a big girl. But speaking of which, they're walking in now. But anyway, internet's lagging on us with all the streaming and everything we're doing right now. But let's talk about some of this math a little bit real quick here. So 92 3/4 in 2.5 hours of fishing today. Absolutely incredible. We talked to Jackson. But the consistency of Corey Dreyer and what he's done. Corey's an OG, right? I mean, the man's listed as legend in my cell phone. Him and Craig Dye both share that.
Is that
title.
obvious goofball? Is that what
No.
Oh, original gangster.
Yeah.
Original gangster.
But I mean, Jackson 13-14 was watching Corey, was watching, some of these guys. But then you've got two guys in Brundle and a guy who Brundle says is the next
best fisherman in the country.
Is the best.
No, he didn't say he's the next. He says he is currently the best fisherman in the country.
Is the way that Derek talks about Matthew, who's sitting in fourth place.
Derek is the guy that qualified for the 10 last year as a rookie. He was the rookie of the year and is just a phenomenal angler himself, a freaking hammer. And he says that guy's the best angler he knows. And then you've got Corey sitting in second.
Yep.
You got
Brundle sitting in fourth. Alex Cox from California coming into Alabama, Lake Guntersville, and putting up 88 inches today. I mean, dude, 21 and a half. And did you see that photo? That's a monster, bro.
You got Matt Voigt, right? So Matt's freaking literally the dude is Florida fishing here
absolutely.
Right now, which
it's
is
the grass.
Which is what a lot of people should be doing.
Dude, how scary? Let's roll down. How scary is Russ Snyder sitting in 10th place right now? Let's be honest.
Pretty scary for a lot of people. But listen, I'm going to tell you somebody that everybody's overlooking on this whole leaderboard because he hasn't had the big crazy accolades across the country. But where he's from, there probably isn't a more feared angler than Richie McMichael. That dude, when his name shows up on the leaderboard, it causes people to stop entering tournaments. I'm telling you, when
100%.
Richie enters tournaments in the Midwest, people stop entering. He's been in the 10. The guy is a former regional angler of the year. The guy is a freaking hammer. And again, dude, when he enters tournaments, people
100%.
Stop entering.
100%. Dude, Eric Cormack, I mean, out of West Virginia, dude, the West Virginia guys.
It's Cormac.
I mean, but the guys fish.
Yeah.
I mean,
every day.
Every day. It's like what they do out there. I mean, it wasn't 3 years ago. Tim Perkins, who's currently sitting in 16th, who, I mean, he's an hour from home right now, right? 2-3 years ago, he was sitting in first place, sitting in the hot seat at Kentucky Lake in front of, 780 kayak anglers.
And I hate to pull a scab off of an old wound.
I'm pulling it. I ain't scared.
But I watched Tim Perkins.
Yep.
Miss a fish.
100%. That cost it.
That probably cost him $100,000.
100.
Well, not
say it
100.
again.
The difference between what he won and lost. So $78,000, $78,000.
$100,000 is what it felt like.
That fish cost him, and I watched it. I got the blow up and in frame over his shoulder.
Tim's not watching anymore. He just logged off. He can't hear us talking about this. But then, I mean,
that guy's one fish away from always being in contention.
Right below him, I mean, the man is building a legendary path for himself. Is Jody Queen? I mean, he's in striking distance 100%. There's no chance you're counting him out right now, sitting in 17th place.
Yeah, and I want to just talk about something real quick with this cooperative fishing buzz that's always out there. And I'm going to tell you right now that Jody Queen and Corey Dreyer's names get put into conversations all the time as if it's like left hand, right hand. And arguably that's a earned kind of reputation. But that's what's great about this sport. And if you 100%. Think in any professional series
100%.
That the anglers aren't talking to each other, you're wrong. And if you think that there's any way to avoid that, then you're wrong. And if you think that that's not going to continue to happen, you're wrong. And if you think when it finally comes down to it, and guys are fishing for the big money, that they're then going to share each other information, you're also wrong, which is why Corey's sitting in second place and Jody's in 17th place. But tomorrow they could flip-flop. But I promise you, ain't either one of them waving the other dude over.
Corey's Corey's going hard right now. We're not flip-flopping.
He's shaking his head. So trust me, there's a whole lot of love along the way. But when it comes down to it, 100%. And they're fishing for this row of hardware up here,
it's game on.
This kind of money,
it's game on.
It's game on. So I'm going to shut up.
Well, no. Well, I mean, let's hang on a second. Okay. So Bryce Gibbs out of Arizona, Drew Gregory. I mean, Drew like this.
Actually, don't. Let's not skip over Bryce. Okay.
No.
I'm gonna tell you something. Here's the thing about Bryce out of Arizona. That guy is one of, if not the best angler whose name people don't know. Right. That guy is 100%. A freaking hammer. And
kills it on the West
had
Coast.
access to more tournaments.
Yep.
And if he had access to more proximity to events, his name would be in the discussion for the 10. There's no doubt in my mind, pretty much every year that we have this thing.
They talk about that a good bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But guy, there's so much.
So go ahead. Let's talk about Drew real fast.
Well over half.
Since you already opened it, you can't open the Drew can. You can't shove that little dude back in the can.
I'm not going little dude, but I mean he's fighting hard to shake the title you gave him, which was number 2 Drew.
He shook it. He won the Hobie BOS event in Dardanelle. And here's the other thing. Of the Anglers Fishing National Championship in history, there's only one guy that's got a higher average finish in the national championship, and that's Josh Stewart.
100%.
And Drew Gregory, based on his finishes on the times that he's fished the national championship, has got the second highest average finish, finished second in the national championship last year. And people often forget, but he finished second out of 461 anglers, had a top 10 with 751 anglers.
Yep.
Just finished in the top 10, won the Dardanelle event. On the FLW Cup thing, he was in the top 10 and was on the stage, I think in 4th. A perennial hammer. I mean, he's like trying to grab a hold to a greased rabbit when you meet him in person. The dude is a freaking fishing hammer.
He's a firecracker.
So where did Corey go? Corey's
coming back in. Corey's coming back in. We're gonna bring Corey in here. But guys, y'all got to go check out the Tony X leaderboard and just dive in on this thing. It's just it's absolutely incredible seeing the names that are falling into this place. We're gonna get Corey Dreyer over here in just a second and talk down his day.
For you guys that are watching this on my YouTube channel, actually, if you're watching it anywhere, one of the coolest things about this sport is the person aspect of it, right? Yep. And so 3 years ago, before the national championship, we sent our camera crew. We picked 4 or 5 guys, and then we did a random draw for the other one. Brad Case won the random draw, and Corey was one of the guys that we picked. Doesn't mean nothing against Brad or Rebecca Golden, that we also featured in that series. But we picked Corey Dreyer for what he stood for having the highest average finish. At that time, he had never not cashed a check in a KBF event.
In every tournament he had been in,
at that point, he actually fished a Santee Cooper event later on, where on day 1, he went against his judgment, and then it cost him. And on day 2, he came up to me at the end of day 1 and said, tomorrow I'm fishing for pride. And he went out on day 2 of that KBF Open and had the highest total for day 2 and did it really for pride.
Absolutely.
So even in the event that he didn't cash a check in, he went out and on day 2 proved that had he followed his instincts and followed his gut, he probably would have won that event. So I'm going to jump off here without further ado. One of the coolest human beings on the planet. Go search Angler Profile, Corey Dreyer, and go watch the backstory on what this guy's all about. I'm going to jump out of here and give him some social distance before he steps in. But
absolutely.
Then Scott's going to do his thing.
Yep, absolutely, guys. You guys jump in the comment section right now. Welcome Corey Dreyer in. Corey, come on in and have a seat. If you guys are questioning, Corey and I are close friends. We've had lots of conversations why he's not rocking a mask right now. We've been hanging out for the last month and a half. We just came back from Florida together. We're good, right?
That's right.
So, buddy, I'm just gonna dive straight in. You've had a day, my brother.
I did.
You've had a day. You've busted motor props. You've broken Yak Attack parts. Thank God for that lifetime warranty, right?
Yeah.
But
I fell in the water 3 times on the ramp.
I heard you bled some. It's been, and then on top of all of that, you still have smashed him. Look at this hog on the screen, bro.
Yep.
Where's your head right now, bro?
I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest.
Second place, yeah.
I've got an area that has a lot of fish in it. I don't really have a solid pattern, to be honest with you, but they're scattered and there's a lot of fish there. So I'm feeling good for the next 2 days.
So that, we're gonna dive into that.
Yeah.
But was it all game plan? Did you just lay it out, or have you decided to go fishing? Because you've been scouting for a few days now.
Yeah, we found Jody and I were partnered up and found this spot the other day and caught some good fish. But to be honest with you, where I started at, I only caught 2. And so I kind of gambled. I didn't catch anything on the point that I wanted to, and kind of went around the backside and just started catching them. And I had a limit by 7:30.
This morning.
Yep. So,
Now, talk to me about. I mean, when did everything start rattling the nerves on you? Because I mean, a busted prop is kind of tough. I mean, let's but
my nerves were rattled at 5:57 this morning.
no, they were not.
Dude, I tried to
If you're
get
a
my
Marine,
boat.
no.
I mean, I've got 20 people at the ramp, and I slid down the ramp, grabbed my fish finder to give me, something to grab onto. I snapped it off. It landed in the water.
That's how you broke it.
Oh yeah. So I threw it in the boat, had to rig something up. I took off, beat everybody to my spot, power pulled down, rigged my fish finder up, and just sat back and relaxed. Like, I can't believe this happened. I'm soaking wet. I'm cold. And
you're ready to go home. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So, well, not yet. So then
it gets worse.
So I go and I start catching fish.
The sun's not up yet.
I start feeling great. I catch my limit, and I left the area at 7:40. I left my area, and I took off and went to another spot, and got blown up on some rocks, turned my motor on like an idiot, and blew the prop apart. So ended up having to paddle back about a mile to my truck to go get my spare motor. Did that, and when I was getting the motor off of my boat to take back to my truck, I fell again in the water. And
Rams got it out for you, bro.
Yeah. So it was pretty bad.
Well, I mean,
after that, I was kind of the shot. But honestly, if I hadn't caught fish, I felt like I was just going to go home. It was that type of morning.
But I mean, let's be honest. But I mean, you're in the brand new Wildy, right? You're in that brand new new boat.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's impossible to miss because it's highlighter yellow or whatever. Right. I mean, y'all have a fancy name for it, but we all been calling it highlighter yellow.
Yeah, infinite yellow, but highlighter.
Yeah. I mean, it stands out. Like you don't get missed on the water, right?
That's right.
And it's infinite because you can see it forever. It's a bright boat.
Yeah.
But but even with that boat, the stability that it is and everything else, I mean, you had no problem paddling back up and getting where you needed to go.
I mean, it didn't take long to get back to the ramp. So, but I had to paddle a mile. I was kind of flustered because I had to leave my spot, and there was other anglers in the area that we had a lot of boats on me, so I had to contend with that.
How much strategy? And I'm asking this as a fan question. How much strategy is it in when you're on them and you're catching fish and you know that there's people around you? Is trying to keep quiet in that excitement, or is that something that you don't even focus on?
No, I focus on it. I mean, I try not to draw a bunch of attention to myself.
You're not screaming and hooting and hollering like I do when I catch a 12-incher when we're fishing?
I got pretty loud when I caught that 20.
Oh, that was a good fish.
I did a little, woo.
A little Ric Flair.
Yeah. So,
a hook.
No, I caught it on a Z-Man Mag Fatty in California crawl. So that bait has been money for me. I was using the new
one more time.
The the Z-Man Mag Fatty and California crawl. So with a
it
Pro
don't
Bullets,
get better than that,
with
guys.
A Pro Bullets jig head, 1/4 ounce with a 4/0 hook. And if people know me, I will tell you where I fish, what I'm fishing with. It doesn't bother me. I like to help people out, and so
is the game plan tomorrow to go follow down that same ramp and then do it all over again?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to try to get there a little bit earlier this time, though, since we have an hour and a half.
I mean,
we have an hour and a half drive.
Did you put the Crocs in 4-wheel drive before you fell down the ramp?
Yeah.
And they still didn't.
It didn't help.
Crocs. We're looking at you. Crocs.com. Let's get some non-skid Crocs for the man here.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. I mean, we could. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know that you have room for Crocs on the jersey. Yeah. What is up with your Febreze in the middle of your boat?
Yeah. Thanks, Shane Williams. Yeah. No, that's actually Gulp crawfish spray.
Now, how much of that comes in? Because you've got, let's be honest, Tourney X, like guys are going and looking tournament, but fans at home may not know to realize to go look in the bottom of these boats. Is that something that when you're trying to get photos, do you even think about any of that? Or, you just named what you were throwing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a frog there. I had a jig. I had some.
Oh, there's a whole stack of baits in your console there.
Yeah. So no, that's a sin I use all the time. But honestly, I don't. Like I said a minute ago, I don't really worry about what folks look at. Like I will tell you what I'm throwing. So I don't try to hide it. It's just you still got to catch the fish, and I personally like seeing people do well. So
now, Chad, tell me mathematically, am I wrong in that he has an opportunity to triple crown this thing?
No, I'm not. I'm not in the challenge.
Not in the challenge. So neither first or second place right now has got an opportunity.
One person in the top 10 right now, as far as I can tell, that has a shot at the triple.
Brundle? So he's and Brundle's sitting in 4th, I think, pretty much across the board right now.
Yes.
That's some math right
I'll have that
there.
narrative better for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about that tomorrow. Now, you're also fishing. I mean, obviously, proudly representing the DZ and catch team this year.
Yep.
I mean, and let's be honest, like y'all. I mean, like if you look at national names,
we have a stacked team. But we gotta do well.
Do we know, Chad, what's going on with the team right now?
We absolutely know. Come on, Scott. What do you think we're doing?
I mean, well, I don't know. So when I say we,
No, our team did really well. One of our anglers struggled a little bit today, but I think
You want to say who that was?
yeah, I'll say it. It's Jamie Dennison. So Jamie,
I was just messing with you, Jamie.
yeah, no, Jamie,
Chad's getting
Jamie
punched in the
struggled,
throat later.
I
and
didn't even know who it was. So.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. There again, we
It's a team
communicate.
thing, though, yeah.
we communicate, and I've talked to Cody this week. We helped out Broach. Broach was struggling a little bit in practice. Jamie
I think
was
Broach
struggling.
only put up 3 fish today.
Yeah, he got a good one though, so that one really
he did.
helped us, jump up in the team. But Jamie and I talked last night. We gave him some spots and said, hey, this is where we were going to go until we found this other place. And the only thing I was worried about was the water being pulled out of there. And we caught some big numbers out of there, and it didn't work out. So
just to give you a heads up right now for the Team Challenge Cup, top team, DZ catches in the lead.
DZ catches in the lead right now, guys.
In the lead with a 19.05-inch average for 95.25.
Ooh.
Real Tree Fishing, the defending champion.
Defending
are
champs.
sitting in second place with 94.5 inches, so 3/4 of an inch difference. And in third place, Yak Attack with 88.5. Smizex in fourth with 85.25, and then Team New Canoe rounding out the top 5 with 84.5. So it's tight from there all the way down.
Wow.
Plus or minus an inch or so.
All right, bro. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go deep for a minute, but we're boys, right? Don't
Yeah,
punch me
man.
in the face, all right? You're literally, you've seen it. I mean, I'm a fan, right? Even though we're buddies,
You're a fan.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've been an OG. You've been doing this a long time, man. So much from your beautiful wife and the kids and the family. Your dad was on here commenting earlier. Like you've been doing this for so long. You got your first Trail Series win just a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of feels like things are grinding in your right direction, other than the blood and the rusted prop and all that stuff, right? But let's be honest. I mean, putting your name back here with these other 4 guys, what does that do, Corey?
Oh, I mean, it changes a lot, man. My goal this year was to make the 10 again, and I had one shot, and that was to go to Lanier. And I did all the math. I had to finish to bust into the 10. I had to finish at least 5th place or better in one event and 20th place or better. I finished 5th, and then I won. And so I tied with Matt Ball. I was like, I've got a shot at this thing if I do well in this Trail Series. My whole goal is to get back in the 10. It's the best event that I've ever been to.
The 10's Super Bowl, right?
It's great. I was there 2 years. Phenomenal job, and every year it keeps getting better. And so that was my entire goal this year, was to make that. So I'm hoping that I can pull it off. And I actually have a shot at Angler of the Year. And so
that one right there.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to touch it. I've done the math and know what I have to do. I have to beat Jody by 5.
That's easy.
5 spots and Russ by 4. Or no. Yeah.
You got to beat Russ and Jody.
Yeah. So
a few other people you're kind of
yeah.
Well, I'm tied.
Mathematically, there's a chance.
There is, absolutely. I have to do better than those. Well, I'm tied for 4th. Matt Ball was there. Ken Wood, I think he did okay today. Matt did okay, but I think I jumped them, in totals. I think I have the fish to do it. So
well, dude,
but it's gonna be tight. Those guys I look up to them, and they grind the whole season.
No,
so I kind of have mixed feelings on the Angler of the Year thing, to be quite honest with you, because I'm like, these guys, their performance through the entire season, they didn't, we don't count all their points and their finishes.
And we've talked about that. We talk about this a good bit off camera. And there's a selection of guys that are working their butts off to do this full time. You're doing this, I mean, really full time, but you work for one of the biggest kayak companies in the world. Yep. Full time, on top of being a dad with 2 small kids and an okay husband, from what Sabrina says.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But real talk. I mean, but you're grinding in a way folks don't see. We talk. Folks don't see the text messages that we're sending at 1 o'clock because you're up sending emails and filling out dealer properties and doing different things. Like it's a grind for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm sitting on about 400 emails right now and took vacation and trying to balance that. Even though I'm on vacation, I'm doing work and trying to focus on the tournament. So
well, dude,
it's a lot.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot. Well, dude, thank family, loved ones. Give a shout out to sponsors. I'm not going to keep you any longer. We're going to wrap this show up, but dude, go fall down the ramp tomorrow. Do everything you did again today, again tomorrow, and let's come back and talk about this again tomorrow afternoon. Okay?
We'll do. Yeah.
Give your shout outs, bro.
Yeah. Thanks to my wife and the kiddos, and I'm not sure if she's watching.
Sabrina's always watching.
But hey, babe, I'll be home soon, and thanks for rooting for me. So she told me not to come home if I don't catch fish. So
well, you got that done today.
And then So. And then I just want to thank all my sponsors, Cash and Rods, Wilderness Systems, the new Recon's phenomenal. The new Icon rods were awesome. So
Absolutely.
Worm and Jig rod, that's what I caught the majority of my fish on, and smashed them. So
well, I wouldn't be your Marine and your friend without putting this little nugget of doubt in your head. Does it do anything when you hear that Jackson Orr, who's beating you by half an inch, only fished for 2.5 hours today? Does that do anything for you?
No.
I like the cool and calm.
No, it doesn't, because I was done by 8 o'clock.
Corey Dreyer, everybody, man, proud
Appreciate
of you, bro.
buddy.
Take care, man.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely, dude. Get back on the road. Guys, we're going to get Chad back in here, but guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to be back here again tomorrow afternoon with even more going on. Lots of things running around the space. But
we got somebody else to talk to, man.
Let's do this.
All right, so listen.
You're running out of time. Quick.
Since Corey talked about it and he's still in earshot, I want to address this Angler of the Year thing, right? Because it comes up a lot. So I want to break this down. You got a guy that's a really accomplished angler like Corey, but he's got a full-time job, right? At the end of the year, he decided he wants to make a run at it, and he made a run at it, and it got himself in the conversation. So if you want to know exactly why the Angler of the Year system is set up the way that the Angler of the Year system is set up now, that's exactly the reason. So that anybody at any time throughout the season could jump in and work around life constraints and wife constraints and husband constraints and job constraints and COVID constraints and all of that, and still have a chance at that glory, at that payoff, at that opportunity, at that, sponsorship, positioning, changing opportunity for your career. And so that the guys that have the ability, that are afforded the ability, or that have taken the chance, don't just run away with it and by June it's over, okay? So it's called the Angler of the Year. It's not called the Angler of Spring. It's not called the Angler of the Summer. It's not called the Angler of the Fall. It's called the Angler of the Year. And what we've done is we've worked very hard to come up with a formula that keeps it competitive, that keeps people entering the tournaments throughout the season to put their name in the hat for the chance of getting a high enough finish. And we're going to do the same thing next year. Nothing's going to change with the Angler of the Year formula, with the exception of maybe one little tiny twist. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually keep it the same way. But because of the format for COVID this year, when we do the trail next year, we're going to do those 2 events every weekend like we did this year, because it worked out really well for that blue collar working man, or even that white collar working man or person that can't necessarily get away, or that person that's got family
for
time.
the guys that are buying the Apex.
That they can't get away from, right? Yeah, the guys that are buying Apex kayaks. It gives you the opportunity to still be competitive, and even if you are super hardcore competitive, it gives you a chance to keep going out there and fishing and improving your score, because it's your best 3 nationwide.
Yep.
And then this event with double points and double decrement. And listen, we can argue till we're all blue in the face. And this is the one where I finally get to say sometimes it's just good to be the king. And I like a championship.
Finally, you get to say
I
that?
finally get to say that. Sometimes I listen to all the noise, and sometimes I just make a damn decision.
Absolutely.
And here's what it comes down to. I think title takes on a big old piece of hardware right there,
boom,
and gets to wear that title all year long. And in my opinion, is the most coveted and most sought out, is the guy that fished all year long and was consistent and kicked butt, but also stepped up and hammered them on the day that the only day, and this is if you want the exclamation point on this sentence for why I do it the way I do it, guys can go compete in all of these pockets around the country, but there's only one time that everybody that's gunning for Angler of the Year is on the same body of water at the same time, under the same conditions, fishing with the same constraints.
100%.
And that's how the Angler of the Year should be decided. And that's pretty much how it's going to be decided at KBF. You can like it or you can hike it, baby. So if you don't like it, I don't really care. And I hear every possible opinion. And that's the beautiful thing about this organization that I have the privilege of being, at the head of. And it's also the downside to it, because I've got every possible opinion out there. But we have to take all of that melting pot and put it together. And I think that the year-long format where everybody can come in, even late, like a guy like Corey, who works in this industry and grinds through the time when the fishing's the best. When you're a rep for a kayak company, in the spring you're running demo days, and you're handling dealer orders, you pretty much are kind of taken out of the game.
This year was like the worst. Like it's just, man, we sold everything.
But to have the ability to come in on the last 3 trails or the last 2 stops and get 4 trails and take your best 3 and jump into the top 10, it just proves that the Angler of the Year title is up there for the person that's got the drive, the person that's got the desire, the person that's got the talent, the person that's got the skill. But as long as I'm sitting at the helm, here's how we're going to do it. You're going to earn it at the championship, where for one time, for one set of circumstances, you fish on the same body of water, under the same conditions, the same guys, and you do it for 2 days, and then we crown a champion.
100%.
And then we get to take those top 10 guys that are those guys that Corey talked about, those ones that grind it all year long, and we want people to have a shot at that too, so that we get to take those guys, and that's our gift back to them. In my opinion, and I'm biased, but the 10 is the most elite event in kayak fishing.
Hands down.
I will break my arm, patting myself on the back to say that it is. And here's why. Because there's no entry fee. There's guaranteed money. You get treated like royalty, and you get to test yourself against only the top 10 guys, maybe 12 or 13 with some of the wild card bursts that we've come up with. But you get to test yourself against the top guys. And we're going to do the same thing for the 10 next year that we're doing for the championship this year. We're going to have it in the middle of the week, where you're not fighting all the brim fishermen and the boat traffic and the recreation traffic. And we're going to decide a champion with championship conditions. Those guys are only competing against other championship caliber anglers who've earned the right to be there. But for the Angler of the Year, man, we're going to do the best 3, and we're going to double up at the Trail Series Championship. Like I said,
love it,
like it. But if you don't, get on your horse. Anyway,
speaking of horse,
angler, we're going to do horse.
Get out of here. Get on your horse, man. Guys, you know what I love about this right here is that in the comment section, you guys are hitting me left and right. Where's Alex? Where's Alex? Alex Cox, come on down, bro. I love that G Team and all these other folks are jumping in down here going, where's Alex at? We're not leaving Alex Cox off of this thing. Bro, all the way from California, bro.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man?
A lot of driving and not a lot of sleep, but I'm feeling good.
How long you been in the beautiful state of Alabama?
It took me a day and a half to get here.
A day and a half.
Yeah.
That's a grind, day and a half.
I made it to Oklahoma City on the first day, and I could hardly sleep at that rest stop, and then I just grinded it out on the third or the second day.
How many days of practice did you get in, Alex?
6.
So you've been here for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you've gotten to see. I mean, even in a week, like there's still a lot of water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen, I don't know, like 12 launch ramps, and I probably run, I don't know, like 80 miles on my trolling motor, and it's still, a fraction of this lake.
Well, dude, I mean, coming in all literally across the country, from one side of the continent of the country to the other, dude, sitting in 5th place. I mean, you put up some great fish. I mean, how was the day for you compared to what your game plan was?
So I explored lots of areas of the lake, and on Sunday and Monday, I got on pretty much like the same number as far as inches, but just kind of differently, like more like consistent fish, not the smaller ones. So today I was kind of like, yesterday I just kind of checked my areas just to see, and I actually was kind of spinning out last night. I did really bad yesterday, just trying to check my spots, and I ended up like fishing my water a lot. And a couple things changed. That big one was really lucky. I don't think there's that many of those where I'm at. Probably more of the consistent 17s, 18s.
So is that a plan? I mean, did you go into your spot thinking I'm going to get my limits and make some moves? Are you a move guy? I'm learning.
My bite's not really until like 11:30 or 12. So
okay.
I gotta just kind of, I'm happy with whatever I get before that sun comes up, and then when it comes up, then it's on.
Well, this morning the fog set in across the entire lake. I mean,
Yeah.
brutally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, we got some camera angles up above, but we were 1,800 feet in the air.
Yeah.
To get those camera angles to kind of see some of that you guys will see in the YouTube episodes and on the TV show.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fog really set in hard.
Yeah. And I think at least what I'm doing, I just gotta be patient. You know, like it's I had a decent limit by like 12:30, and I thought, you know, maybe should I just go flip for the big bite, and I kind of stuck it out and did a couple of things differently. But I think tomorrow I'm actually gonna probably try a different ramp, different area.
Gonna change something up.
I'm gonna change something up because I'll probably just go back to where I was today in the afternoon, but I'm gonna roam around a little bit. I got a few areas and I got lots of water.
Lots of water, lots of opportunity. Now, I mean, I mean, talk about just, I mean, an absolutely beautiful bass in the bottom of that bona fide there, man. But I mean, the drive, I mean, what is this your first time fishing Guntersville? Have you been?
Yeah, I've the furthest east I've been was Beaver Lake, Arkansas.
So I mean, like this was an opportunity. Like you wasn't letting COVID and everything. Like you were coming to Guntersville, Alabama.
You know, life set up really odd for this tournament. Me and Danny Uribe planned on coming out here in April, and we were gonna probably do like 4 or 5 days practicing. That didn't happen, obviously. Everything in my life is just shifting around. I got married literally like 13 days ago.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes. You can't just roll by like you just said what you just said, right?
Oh yeah, no, we've still
You're
got
a newlywed.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling. It doesn't feel great being away. Like she's still back in California.
What kind of unbelievably understanding wife? So wait a minute. So the wedding was planned, and then they shifted gears to bring this event here.
Well, we originally had the wedding date and the ceremony and everything like that, but we actually moved everything to May. But we still got married on that day. We wanted to keep the original date. So we shifted everything. We did a small little wedding with just friends and family. But yeah, it was literally like a couple days later. I was like, you know what?
It's like, here's a ring. I'm with you for the rest of my life until like when I get back from Guntersville.
I'm just starting to get that tan line, you know. But
wives at home are looking at husbands right now across the country, going, no.
And you know what? She was my biggest supporter on this because another thing that happened is I was co-owning a gym, and because of COVID, we pretty much shut down the doors, and so kind of doing the whole unemployment thing for like the last 2 months. I had nothing but time. I had a lot of time and some resources to come out here and spend some time and practice. And my wife said, if you want to do this, I fully support you. And I said, look, like I'm going to be all in. If you give me the green light, that's, how I get when it comes to tournament fishing.
It's obsessed. It's passion driven.
Yeah.
Now, but I mean, you're only a couple hook sets away from, having your name on a trophy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And carrying home, a giant honeymoon check, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be really nice. Fortunately, I've fished some big stages before. Like I said, I was out here in Arkansas back in 2013 fishing against Shane LaHue, Jordan Lee, Dustin Connell.
Miles
Berghoff, a handful of those guys.
Yeah.
A little bit faster boats than here, but it's kind of one of those things where, when you really love fishing and you're all about it, you just know fishy water. And I think that this lake sets up a lot like Clear Lake in a ways. And Clear Lake's still about an 8-hour drive from my home, but I would consider that my home lake because I go up there all the time. And the river system kind of changes things a little bit, but I'm comfortable in grass, and there's a little bit of that here.
It showed. There's a lot of grass here, and it absolutely shows that you're comfortable. Alex, man, I've got to get you in on your own episode of the weigh-in, dude. We're gonna make that thing happen, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you stay consistent tomorrow and Friday, dude. I want so much more of this story and what's going on.
Yeah.
But give a big shout out to any kind of sponsors, to the newlywed wife at home.
Yeah,
family members, man.
My biggest supporter is my wife, Kelsey. Thank you. I know you're sitting at home with my dog, but it's great to have that support, and I'm nothing but excited for the rest of our lives. And as far as sponsors, I'm kind of rolling solo. I did some sponsorships back in college, and since then I've just kind of been winging it. I'll fish every bait. I do fish monoreels. I'm a diehard Dobbins rods guy. I love my bona fide trolling motor on the front, XI3. And you know, those are some companies that I believe in. I'm not sponsored, but I fish them hard and I fish them all the time.
Well, I think we got some connections to some of those companies, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I want more of this story.
Sure.
We will talk later. Go get lines ready to roll, hooks retied.
Oh yeah.
And crush it tomorrow, my man.
Cool. Thanks.
Guys, absolutely incredible. Guys, we're going to get ready to run this thing down. Chad's going to jump in the seat one more time real quick, guys. But that's the end of the show here for the weigh-in. Chad, phenomenal day one, bro.
Man, are you kidding me? Like, I've been comparing fish sizes to the fish that the elite guys caught. And, you know, there was a lot of comparison. And love Dave Mercer like a brother, but he was kind of hinting around the fact that there was a rumor there was a little kayak fishing tournament. Well, there's definitely a little kayak fishing tournament going down. And then he mentioned it again in his little FYI thing. But, you know, as Alex said, a lot of these guys say that they're sponsored by me, myself, and I. But in his case, and I was going to make this point anyway, you know, after Pat said it, but most of us are sponsored by me, myself, and wife, right? Because those guys pick up the load, whether they just allocate the money, they also pick up the load when you're gone. And I say our significant other, wife just happened to rhyme. But you know, whoever is staying home and sacrificing or going on the road with you
and sacrificing,
like Jim's dad or like Jackson's dad Jim, and like Vince,
who's families
that have come down and you know, it's not a bad place to give up your vacation time to come to Guntersville, but to give up their vacation time to come support their angler. There's a kid here with his entire family here. And so listen, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. But I want to send out a heartfelt thank you to the kayak bass fishing community that has done a great job of, during a time of utter turmoil in the rest of the world with everything else that's going on, of somewhat healing itself and realizing what we all have taken for granted. There was some drama over the years that has kind of started to well up, and it almost got to the point where it dominated our community. And a lot of that's been pushed back down because people realize how much we care about this sport and how much of a part of our lives it is. We've moved past that, and I think that everybody's having a good time. Listen, after all, it's just fishing, and fishing's supposed to be fun, right? So I'm on a fishing mission to bring fishing to as many people as we possibly can. Whether you're a tournament fisherman or not, these things are great for the community because they push innovation, they push competition. Competition breeds innovation, and then they just snowballs from there. And we, as the anglers, win when companies compete for our attention, our affection. It drives prices down, it drives technology up. And so these competitions are necessary to shine a light on these companies, these amazing companies that support us, so that we can keep doing what we're doing. And it benefits everybody out there, even if you're not a tournament angler. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and KBF staff and this knucklehead right here for all your support, for watching these videos, for driving the miles to come to these events. And stay tuned for day 2 tomorrow, where we decide who's going to win the Trail Series Championship and the Challenge Series Championship. And then we cut to what we know as the 100 for the final day of the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship here on beautiful Lake Guntersville, Alabama. Scott, I don't have anything else, man. You take it home.
There's
take it home.
So much hardware, so much opportunity, so much just absolute love and friendship running around this event. There's an electricity in here, and Chad, man, I love these little plastic boats in this entire community, man. This has been just a phenomenal day one, a phenomenal couple of days of practice and setting up. You've got a phenomenal team around you, bro, that help you run KBF. And it's just a lot of fun, man. It's cool to come be a part of this, to come tell some stories. And guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Scott Butcher. This is the weigh-in. Thank you so much, Fish USA. As always, I'm telling you guys, tackle your dreams. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Hey, and if you're watching on YouTube, smash that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and please leave a comment so we know how much.
Jump in right now. Leave it.